I'd like to carry on with a couple of other things. The
Go ahead,
point
John.
Dealing with the Vatican. I was in England and met with a gentleman who was helping targeted individuals, and we had a good long chat. And I said to him, "Where is this coming from?" And he said, "Well, as far as we can ascertain, it's coming from the Vatican's supercomputer." Now, if you Google Vatican supercomputer, you will come up with information that the Vatican is involved in transhumanism through its supercomputer system. So it is something that's totally alien to my beliefs of what a religion should be doing.
Perhaps Roseanne, you want to say a few words?
Yeah, hi everybody. First of all, I'll say that I'm terrifically attacked right now. So if I have to get off, I will be back. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Well, I have something different to bring to the mix. Maybe that's the problem. Anyways, Ramona, thank you for including me in this conference with so many knowledgeable participants. I'm so honored to be here. I'd like to talk today about the connection between MKUltra and transhumanism. First, a little about me, my background, and why I feel qualified to speak about this. My name is Roseanne Schneider, and I suspect that I have been a victim of deep state, non-consensual mind control experimentation for most of my life. This was brought to my attention after a letter was uncovered, written by my mother while she was pregnant with me, giving the Catholic Church temporary custody of me at birth. I later learned from Kathy O'Brien that the Catholic Church was working with the CIA to bring about MKUltra experimentation in Boston, where I was born, at the time of my birth. And they were targeting orphans. I have a witness to what happened to me in the Catholic foster home, and it was trauma-based. My earliest experiences of life, including induced trauma, childhood sexualization, and subsequent experience throughout my life, support the realization that I was indeed involved in this tragic violation of human rights at the hands of the CIA. My experiences give me a broad view of what's going on. To be precise, from the early 1950s to the current day. I have written 2 books about this experimentation and the tactics and the technologies involved. But for the purpose of this conference, I will simply state that I've been non-consensually subjected to the following. In the past, there was induced trauma, psychotronic technology, induced dreams as a child, drug experimentation as a young girl, infiltration of my life by unwitting assets or people who don't know that they are mind-controlled, extreme manipulation of my life to support CIA projects and operations. I have read factual accounts of CIA projects and operations and realized that I was unwittingly involved. The dates and the locations line up perfectly. In present, I am hit with psychotronics, which in my case has resulted in slight left eye drop and is used for compliance to Agenda 21 and political principles. Neuroweapons. I suspect brain mapping and the creation of pain and dysfunction throughout my body. Transhumanism technology, which has resulted in suspected hive mind creation. Feeling the emotions of others in real time. Thought insertion, control of emotions, and torture. Neuroweapons and transhumanism technology overlap and might be one and the same. When I was doing my research for my first book, I spoke to many TIs I followed many on social media, and I was on all of the conference calls. I noticed similarities, especially amongst the many older female victims who were born in the 50s and early 60s like me. I was astonished to discover that many had been raped as children. Also, I co-moderate an FBI group of victims. A multiple choice survey was posted. One question asked, at what age did your targeting begin? An overwhelming majority of respondents chose targeted from birth as their response. Kathy O'Brien is a survivor of Project Monarch, the most disgusting of the MKUltra catalog of atrocities. She claims that MKUltra became operational in preparation for the New World Order and that it was very widespread. Based on my research, I would agree. Because I have a background in trauma-based mind control, I can see that trauma-based mind control in our world is through the roof, including the harassment protocol that most TRs go through. I finished this report on the past and present manipulation of the human race by asking the following question. Are MKUltra survivors now being used for transhumanism research? Based on my experiences, I would say that they are. If I'm correct, this represents the re-victimization of these people, or worse still, a victimization which has been going on throughout their entire lives. That's it, folks. I ask you to connect the dots.
Thank you, Roseanne. You were holding us kind of spellbound. We were listening, I think, carefully to every word. Indeed, as you know, many people have also said to me in many of my interviews, this is sort of an MKUltra production, and it's something that a lot of people relate back to their early lives. You know, a lot of people witness and give testimonial to the idea that indeed they've been targeted from very early. Some, you know, from birth, some from before birth, throughout their childhood and coming up to the present day. But it's not only now through the obvious effects of neurotechnology use on them and anti-personnel directed energy use, weapon use on them, that they've kind of gone back and connected the dots, as you say. So thank you. I think this is going to be hugely helpful for many, many people to hear. So no doubt we'll come back to the subject of MKUltra because it's underlying much of our discussion today. We all know that there have been dark scientists, mad scientists from the 1940s and probably earlier onward who have been experimenting secretly and in stealth on people's minds and bodies and never stopped their experimentation, just kind of went underground apparently after the Church Committee in 1974. So, you know, this is part of the whole tapestry of crime and wrongful experimentation that we are here to bring attention to. So thank you.
Most people don't believe it's happening. You'd be tortured in your own home. No one will believe you.
Your brain has been rewired to feel the other, I call it the empathy machine. We can overpower all senses. We can create false sense of touch, make you think ghosts are touching you. We can, create smells that aren't really there, tastes. So you can imagine all the trickery that we're capable of doing, from hauntings to being beamed up by aliens, being anal probed. So unfortunately, it gets into very dark topics of trauma-based conditioning we do remotely, rape, torture, etc. The brain doesn't distinguish between these signals. And so at the comfort of your own home, it's as if they brought you into a lab for alien dissection and whatnot.